Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the Despair World. It is I, Connor, here again. I'm here to begin the first video of a good amount series of videos to introduce you to the colorful world of battle spirits. In today's video, I will be playing a showing off the strengths of of one of the multiple colors of the deck, being the main color that every protagonist plays in the anime. If you want to watch the anime, I would look it up. I would begin recommending with um, everything but the first one, which is called Battle Spirits Topa Bashin. Any ones after that are really good, just as, in my opinion, card game animes and for learning the game properly. Um, but besides that tangent here, uh, in this video, I will be explaining how this deck's supposed to function. If you want to play this deck on TCO, fair warning: if you want to play this game, TCO is the only way to currently play this game because, as I've mentioned before, this game stopped supporting the US, and there's currently no other programs for this game. However, besides that, it's not that big of an issue. But give me one sec. Okay, so the go to the base gameplay of this deck. Our deck here is to focus on just purely a tempo aggressive build on our opponent using a lot of small creatures so we can control the board immediately, while then having other cards to give us advantage, such as Dragosaurus, which when we play him, we get to destroy a Nexus, which are continuous spells, and my opponent's other creatures, so they don't have the board. While then having um, ways to get adjust the our resources between our spirits, so we don't overshoot our value, with such as Taurus Knight and our key card of this deck being the Dragon Emperor Siegfried, who okay, one sec. Who, if when we get him on board, will be a very annoying card for our opponent that we can then uh, play for cheap costs because of our tiny creatures, along with certain effects such as the Shaman Dragno, which gets him back from the drops our graveyard for free, and then through our spell Double Draw, which is a Pot of Greed that lets us summon him for free. Other important cards we have is Awaken, that lets us get kind of let us use our resources during the attack step, and then it pays for itself with a draw. Buster Spear to then be a Nexus removal, because Nexuses are one of the more important cards of this game, along with a draw 2, a Call the Lost to get us back our Siegfried, and some counter removal. Um, our main Nexus of the deck is the Burning Battlefield, which gives us a power boost if we when we want to go offensive, and then forcing our opponent to um, block, so we can force them to lose resources. Um, then we have the Ruby Sun to be a counter against our opponents playing a really staple white and green cards, along with them using um, by having them adjust their resources, we can punish them with this. Um, So I hope you guys are ready with me to hop right in with this deck and to hopefully get a win. Okay, good. Our opponent accepted immediately. Our opponent is getting. So how this game will be set up, I will be explaining that while I set myself up. Okay, so the game starts with each player having 4 cards in hand, and then putting counters in 2 zones: our reserve and our life. You start 5 life, and the objective of the game is to either deal your opponent's life to 0, or to have when their cards hit 0 and they attempt to draw a card at the beginning of their next turn. Very reminiscent to Yu-Gi-Oh! The special thing that has changed throughout this game's history is one of the core in the reserve is a special core called the Soul Core, which a lot of current effects in the game revolve around. So that is a resource that should proper that to be good with decks that revolve around it, you need to properly manage your use of it in the best scenarios. Yeah, so the Giant Emperor Sigri is a card I mentioned earlier. He has the evolution ability that lets us reevaluate our core while having the ability of when he has Soul Core, we can treat him as level 3, thus having to use less resources on it. And then when he dies, if I have 5 life or less, I gain 2 life and he stays on field. So he's, again, very annoying card for our opponent to deal with, especially since we can set him up to level 3 really quickly, uh, uh, take hits, block with him when necessary, gain life, have him come back, be able to take more damage, block, rinse, and repeat. Okay, our opponent is setting a burst. What this is a mechanic in the game. They're reminiscent to trap cards. You can only have one of them, and I'm hope to God I don't run into its condition. So I begin my turn with a draw, and then what you'll see that I do that my opponent didn't do is the set starting on the second player, they get a phase in their turn called the core step, which allows us to gain a core, thus increasing our mana. So, like right now, I can set up by playing the Burning Battlefield, and I can pay a mana for Iburn. So Iburn is just a very vanilla spirit, but he's 5k, so good to help us make sure we have the board control. I end my turn for my opponent because I wish to not activate that burst yet, and I'd rather be making sure I can get Siegfried set up safely and force my opponent to go and start being the aggressive one. So our opponent just draws, gains a core, and ends turn. So that's really good for us because that means he did nothing proactive on that turn. So now we're pretty good here. We can summon a Siegfried now. However, what I want to do is wait. What I want to do is shift cores around, and actually I'm going to start by summoning Siegfried Because I have two red symbols on the field, the 6 mana cost on my Siegfried gets reduced down to 4, so I only have to pay 4, and I get Siegfried already. Being very effective because now with the Soul Core on him, he's level 3 at 10k, being a really efficient blocking number, and setting my opponent up to have to deal with an annoyance. Now, since I have a Siegfried, if he can deal with the Siegfried, I have another one in hand, and eventually I have a Call to Loss. Let me get Siegfried back. So, again, we're going to be Siegfrieding on Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds. So we just go, gain core, some draws. Um, I got the Shaman Dragano, which is going to be another way for us to be effective. Such as now I can start setting up my Fane. I'm going to put 2 core on the Brain Battlefield and the other 3 on Iburn because I'm planning to go for the aggressiveness and I don't want to get counter removal because now I have 2 Fanes that will be at 13,000, which will be a hard number for him to counter removal. Yeah, again, we didn't play Shaman Dragno because we want a Siegfried to die so we can just bring it back, such as the mindset of Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds. Our opponent this is the card I thought he was going to be playing. It's not that much of a scary card. This is the Battle Fader of the game, a card that most decks run. So pretty much just my Siegfried's damage gets stopped, and he now ends the battle, such as my Ibra now can't attack. Again, not super annoying. I got 1 out of the deck, so means I only have to run through 2 of those. And because I still have good amount of resources with Flame Tempest, so at some point I can just really clear a lot of minions. So such as I know what I'm facing now. What I'm facing with it by seeing this card is my opponent is playing the War Dragon deck. So his game plan is going to be getting through my spirits. Such as now, he's going to be playing his key card being not what I was thinking it was going to be. I think it will be playing straight up Soul Dragon. However, so he's destroying Iburn, such as now with the death of Iburn. Iburn dies, and now he gains 2 core, which is fine with me because now with Siegfried ready at 10,000, I can attack for 13. He is lowering him up to 10,000 as well. And now, because I have the Brain Battlefield, he has to either attack with both his spirits, or... Okay. Right, so he's attacking. If he doesn't now attack with Doronimu, then I get a free kill off of it now because of Siegfried. And I can now have enough, because I have 2... Yeah, thought he was going to do that. And now 2 spirits on field, I can summon more Siegfrieds. However, that will be a very not near efficient thing to do. Alright, we start by summoning Gorodon, a simple cost 0 spirit such as his Doronimu. And now, because we have 3 reductions now, we get to summon our own Siegfried. Another Siegfried at level 2 this time though, so only 6,000, which is fine by us because how this goes now, his Geronimo is very short, and we can now do some attacks. So now this will force a block from him. And with a block from him, this sets us up. So such as we got a free kill off him. Ooh, that's fine. So what's we got? Ooh, nice. So here is an interesting nexus is the Great Dragon Castle Hamaru. This gets him a free kill as well. And something that I could care less for, but not annoying enough in my opinion. Because now, however, the only issue is now is his Soul Dragon Haze is at 13,000, which will be quite the annoyance. However, because of Siegfried, we can just block, gain 2 life, have it come back and exhaust, and take damage. Pretty much allowing us to be very what this deck wants to be doing. So, ooh, card I didn't want to be facing here. So we are officially playing a full green-red mix deck because of this annoying card being the Golden Shell Emperor Rosenberg, which will now net him a draw 2. And he got 3 core, much increasing his advantage. As it definitely is going to be a uphill battle for us for the most part. However, because of how this deck will play, we will be Siegfrieding on Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds on Siegfrieds. So this lets block and attack, and now we have 2 life. He's attacking us with Rosenberg. Yep, so now he has his draw 2. I will have to take this one to life. However, because Siegfried helped us out, we get pretty much 2 free resources, allowing us to kind of start bouncing back into this game. And because he now only has the core on his field, this will allow us to potentially make it easier to not get furiously annoyed by counter removal, and potentially making us have a super strong comeback. So he's attacking us again, gain us more life. That makes me concerned because I know he then has something in his hand, which is fine by me because since we are at 3, I just have to level up now. This Siegfried by 3, both will activate, and I will gain 4 life, and they will stay on field. So we have now some core. We get to level up Siegfried and grab Gordon. I will be just, again, playing a very passive game. Don't want to be using up our, our small amount of cards. So let's see, flashing here. Uh, and such as us winning the game because my opponent here has played the banned card, being the Retsuhiro Serubi. We will be officially telling our opponent this and seeing how this gets responded. I'm unfortunately sorry that this happened, that our opponent played a banned card against us. If necessary, I would be trying to figure out another game for us to play. I couldn't tell my opponents. Okay, our opponent wants to try it out on us. We'll just be continuing with this game. However, we are now at the severe disadvantage of this card now. It's fine though, because all his core is now on his field. We have now generally enough to counter removal most nothing currently because everything our opponent has played no really tiny weenies for us to Flame Tempest. Fine, because we have the Siegfried blocking army that can officially died to his veins. Our opponent is now drawing a card. Our opponent is moving the soul core around, putting 5 core on a potential green card, being the very annoying Rooster 12 God King Gale Phoenix, being a card that I will have to block twice with, thus forcing to have to take damage. However, this actually might not be a bad idea because these things can block at exhausted now. Gain 2 life. We officially should be able to survive an onslaught of an attacks. Percent now at 7. Gained 4 life off that attack, putting us in a very effective amount of block. We will take the attack again. Our opponent can do 2 more attacks with that, and if he does, then we can just block more attacks. We will take the damage from this. We take a hit tax. And our hope is that we can use all of our attacks. If our opponent plays a second. So our opponent is playing Storm Attack, which will effectively kill us. Our opponent killing us in an OTK fashion because of I potentially will have to check in the description, but I believe Storm Attack is a banned card. It might be limited one. If that's the case, then we're fine with Storm Attack. However, our opponent did beat us with the banned Cerubi, which was banned as a history lesson for you guys. Cerubi is a banned card because of the ability to re-get your mana back. I will get my opponent to win. I hope you guys enjoyed that thrashing on my part because of hyper aggressive current green, but it wasn't that big of an issue. I was surprised that this was a green deck at the very end of the day, but pretty nice. See you guys later.